Hey everyone, it's Michael. So the UFC not only has the deepest roster in MMA, but it has the most diverse roster. So because of that, whenever the question is asked, who is your favorite fighter? The answer varies depending on who's answering it. And it doesn't just vary, but it varies a lot. So I thought I would do a video revealing who my favorite fighters are. How this is gonna work is I'll mention who my favorite fighter in each division is. These aren't necessarily who I think are the best fighters, but who I think are my favorite fighters. Well, it's not that I think. I know who my favorite fighters are. So let's get started with the women's strawweight division. And the thing I like about this division is that not only is it the premier division when it comes to the women in the UFC, but it's shown that there is such a diverse set of skills when it comes to how each woman approaches the striking game of MMA. But there's one woman whose skills on the feet is must-see TV to me, and that's Thug Rose Namajunas. Rose's movement is so good that she gives even the best and most seasoned strikers like Joanna Jędrzejczyk fits. And let's be honest, if not for Jessica Andrade getting the luckiest possible outcome of slamming Rose on her neck as a freak accident, in a fight she was getting pieced up in, by the way, then Andrade doesn't become champion. Now, Rose isn't impervious to getting hit hard, especially in her legs, but she is the most technical while also being the most fun to watch because of that constant movement. Other fighters I like are Joanna Violence, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Weili Zhang has really grown on me because of her recent string of performances. And this is a bit off the board, but Nina Ansaroff has a comprehensive and unique kicking game that I really appreciate in the world of MMA because you don't really see it often. Moving on to the women's flyweight division, and you know this answer is going to be Black Widow herself, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko. By the way, can we all take a second to appreciate how much of a badass this woman is? One second you'll see her at your local gun range, and the next you'll see her getting her grease lightning on. There's a reason why Ben Askren thinks she's a spy. But in terms of the cage, she just seems to find a way to beat any woman to the punch. And that's a testament to how dangerous of a counter striker she is, whether out in distance or in the pocket. Best example of this is as an undersized bantamweight, she beat Holly Holm and gave the GOAT Amanda Nunes fits in her loss to her because Valentina's counter striking is just too much trouble for Amanda to figure out. That's how dangerous she is on the counter, and the problem is she can grapple too, so there's no escape. Other fighters I find fun to watch are Viviane Araújo, who is such a noticeably better pure athlete than almost all women in this division, and I see a lot of upside with her if she can clean up some aspects of her striking game. And believe it or not, I really like Roxanne Modafferi. Never mind outside the cage that no one has an ill word to say about her, but inside the cage, she might probably have the best fight IQ in the division, especially on the ground. She just thinks 2 steps ahead of everybody, and it's a shame that she can't put a consistent string of wins together or have the power to put anyone away. Moving on to bantamweight, and the easy answer is to say Amanda Nunes because she's the best and hits freakishly hard, but no, believe it or not, I find... Who am I kidding? No, it's definitely Amanda Nunes. And here's the thing about Amanda Nunes, I really like that in her late career, she really knows herself. She knows she's likely going to have the strength and speed advantage. She knows she is better than the strikers at grappling, and she knows she is better than the grapplers at striking, and will use that knowledge to full effect. Unlike another bantamweight great that we know, not naming any names, Ronda Rousey. That isn't to say that Amanda can't hang with the strikers on the feet either, because, I mean, she starched Holly Holm, but my point is that she's willing to swallow her pride sometimes and not always look for the highlight reel knockout that she's known for if it means that she's going to sacrifice the win. I think a great example is Nunes really showing a lot of maturity in her game in both the second Shevchenko fight and the Germaine de Randamie fight, where whenever it wasn't working on the feet, she would take it to the ground. Also, in case it's not clear, Nunes is also my favorite featherweight too because, well, There really is only 2 other true featherweights in the division, and the rest are 35ers, and that includes Nunes. So yeah, other fighters I like are the Preacher's Daughter Holly Holm. Juliana Pena is a tough out for anyone in this division, and GDR still makes me cringe, but you can't deny that she can fight her ass off. And I'll remind you, it's not cursing if you're talking about Donkey. Okay, moving on to the men's divisions, and we start with Flyweight. Flyweight gets a bad rap in the UFC, and we can go around the track as to why, but I think one thing this division doesn't get credit for being is fun, and it's a lot of fun. Perhaps the guy who's the most fun, or at least looks like he's having the most fun out there, is Davidson Figueiredo. And that's going to be my favorite fighter in this division. Now, I know, easy pick, he's the champion, but you got to see the way he fights. It's just a great thing. He'll spam a move over and over with success because he's just an overwhelmingly fast athlete. He does tend to gas out, which is a concern, but you got to get him to the second or third round, and that's the tough battle. Other fighters I like are Alex Perez because he's quick as a hiccup and doesn't just throw fairy taps either. He gets after it and throws 100%. Askar Askarov is an unapologetic grappler, and I appreciate that. Also, I think Brandon Royval has star potential. He's long and lanky and isn't afraid to mix it up. On to bantamweight, and I'm not going to waste anyone's time here because my favorite is TJ Dillashaw. Now, assuming he comes back the same, or at least 90%, then this is an instant contender in the division. I am a huge fan of his movement-oriented style because for him, it's such a great way to fight. Covers up the holes in his striking game while also amplifying his strengths, which is speed. And I also like the fact that he cuts a lot of angles on guys. So he's always looking to get to the blind spot of his opponent, which is absolutely a joy to watch. So even though the drama with TJ is a lot and still mounting with the whole EPO scandal and the Team Alpha Male scandal, I still think he's a top-notch fighter with a top-notch coach in Dwayne Bang Ludwig. Other fighters I like are Aljamain Sterling. The reason why I like him a lot is he pairs a great grappling game with a solid kicking game, and that's super unique. Corey Sandhagen and his switch stance fighting style has a lot of potential for Fight of the Nights or Fight of the Year matchups. And I know Jose Aldo is technically 0-2 in bantamweight, but he looks about as good as any 0-2 fighter could look in the bantamweight division. On to the featherweight division, which is a division full of up-and-coming killers. And my favorite fighter is probably one of the most exciting guys in the world, and that's Yair Rodriguez. I'm a sucker for good taekwondo, and Yair has good taekwondo. He throws tornado kicks, axe kicks, spin kicks, just because. And by the way, that Hail Mary back elbow KO at the last second against Korean Zombie was insane. Speaking of Korean Zombie, that's another fighter I like because Zombie is so tough and doesn't know the meaning of backing down, and it's crazy because his toughness almost overshadows how skilled his boxing and grappling is. Other fighters I like are Max Holloway and Zabit Magomedsharipov, and I don't think I need to explain as to why because who doesn't like them? So moving on. Now, lightweight is, in my opinion, the best division in the UFC, and by extension, the best division in the world. I mean, no one's really talking about the divisions in Ryzen as the best in the world, so I'm going to assume the lightweight division in the UFC is the best in the world. And believe it or not, my favorite part of this division is not Justin Gaethje, not Khabib Nurmagomedov, not Tony Ferguson, and no, not Conor McGregor. It's Dustin Poirier. It's not even the fact that Dustin Poirier is a class act, which he is. He is. But I want you to think of something. Can you ever think of a bad Dustin Poirier fight? That's right, you can't. You can't do it. For one reason or another, Dustin Poirier can make any fight with anybody exciting, and I don't really know why he specifically can do it, but I'm here for all of it. Now, I can't lie, I do also like me some Justin Gaethje and some Tony Ferguson, So I was half-truthing when I said they weren't my favorite fighters. They're just my second and third favorite fighters. And I know stylistically he isn't the most exciting guy for some people, but I find Khabib to be mesmerizing. I mean, everybody and their mother knows what he's gonna do before he does it, and he just does it effortlessly anyway, which I think is a testament to how dominant he is. On to welterweight, and this is another good division, but my favorite fighter who hasn't fought in a long time is Santiago Ponzinibbio. You know those games of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? They should make one about Santiago Ponzinibbio. Now, I know a lot of health scares have really set him aside for a long time, and the pandemic is the pandemic, so we haven't seen him for about 2.5 years, and that's hella unfortunate, because when he was healthy and doing his thing, watch out. Assuming he comes back and will be the same when he comes back, I want everyone to be on notice from now. He has natural power, explosive, and he has finishing instinct that you want to see out of a contender. Also, just like with Valentina Shevchenko, he has the grappling. So there is no secret, easy backdoor way to beating him on the ground. You just have to stand with him and deal with his power, which leads to a lot of insane knockouts. Other fighters I like are my fellow West African brother, Kamaru Usman. Jorge Masvidal is really fun and is underrated defensively. And I know this seems weird, but I'm a fan of Colby Covington in the cage. I know a lot of people are surprised to hear that considering the last video I made on him, but that was a video of me just laying out objective facts and not an indictment on his fighting ability. I think Colby Covington is a testament to what insane cardio can do for you, which is maddening about him because unfortunately you can't look past some of his antics. But he is a great fighter. On to middleweight, and if you know me, then you know this pick is gonna be Anderson Silva. Now, this is more of a nostalgia pick, but this is my hero, so deal with it. And he is still doing it at a relatively high level at 45, but honestly, yeah, it is time for him to hang it up. Hopefully, his retirement fight doesn't go too south against Uriah Hall, which I honestly don't think it will, but I do see Hall getting the W there. Other fighters include Anderson Silva 2.0, Israel Adesanya, and I really like the traditional karate approach Robert Whittaker brings to the game. And you know what? I don't know why, but Jack the Joker Hermanson has been growing on me more and more ever since the Jacare Souza fight. Moving on to light heavyweight, and this division has been in a weird flux lately, but I really like the group of talent that's coming up in the division currently. And my favorite fighter is a guy who's coming off a tough loss, and that's Dominic Reyes. Now, I'm not saying he choked against Jan Blachowicz because that's a tough fight and Jan did really well. But with that being said, Reyes did not look himself. When Dominic Reyes is himself, he's making guys miss with his impeccable head movement and cracking them over the top with that booming left hand. If that Dominic Reyes is what we get for years to come, then he's a mainstay in the light heavyweight division. Other fighters I like are Thiago Santos because when he is healthy, good lord, he's a wild man. Alexander Rakic interests me because he's so explosive. And Misha Cirkunov is our guy, a Toronto guy, and you gotta support local, so he's a guy I always cheer for. And last but not least, the heavyweight division. So obviously my favorite fighter is the GOAT, Yorgan De Castro. Okay, I'm joking. My favorite fighter is actually an off-the-board pick, and it's Ciryl Gane. I think it's evident that Ciryl Gane has the full package. Now, I get it's only been 6 fights for him, but I think it's because his 6 fights have been so impressive that it's tough for him to get a fight in the UFC. In those 6 fights, he's already shown a comprehensive grappling game, great power, good technical kickboxing, and a solid gas tank for the heavyweight division. I mean, when was the last time you saw a heel hook finish in the heavyweight division from someone not named Ciryl Gane? Exactly. Maybe Verdum? Does Verdum have a heavyweight? Let me check this up. Let me look this up. Hold on.
A few moments later.
Nope, Verdum does not have a heel hook finish in the UFC. So, yeah. I'm not saying that Ciryl Gane would beat Verdum in a grappling match. I'm just saying this guy has the full package. And he's only 30, which is really young for the division somehow. So expect him to go far. Also, another off the board pick I like is Tanner Boser. First of all, Boser's Canadian. And I think Boser shedding off the extra weight but deciding to stay in heavyweight has done wonders for him because he always had hand speed and a comprehensive fake game. Also, he had underrated movement back when he was heavier, but now that he's lighter, he's even faster with all those attributes, and because of that, he's looked really good recently. I think it's an absolute crime that Ciryl Gane and Tanner Boser fought each other so early in their UFC careers because I think both guys can really go far. And obviously, you can't go wrong with liking Francis Ngannou and Jairzinho Rozenstruik in this division. So that's my video, guys. Leave a comment about who your favorite fighters are. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Peace and love.